Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing an Assault Mode deck profile. So I'm really excited to for you guys because this deck was actually suggested to me by one of my patrons, Fabian. And this deck is a super fun deck to play that can summon out a bunch of different of the Assault Mode forms, which is super cool. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name description every single video, getting a signed card in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. And definitely give Fabian some love down in the comments down below for suggesting such an awesome deck. So let's get straight on into this one, guys. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Psi-Reflector. Psi-Reflector is an extremely important card that we want to get to as quickly as possible because it helps us synchro summon into all of our different monsters so we can turn them into assault modes. But this card has the ability, if this card is normal or special summon, you can add an assault mode activate or one card that specifically lists assault mode activate in its text from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card. It also says that you can reveal an assault mode activate in your hand and then target one monster in your graveyard that specifically lists assault mode activate in its text, except another copy of this card, special summon it, and if you do, increase its level from 1 to 4. And you can only use the effect of this card once per turn. That is a great effect to just instantly get you a monster on the field and level manipulate it to be any level that you need to go in for a synchro play. We then play 3 copies of Assault Sentinel. Assault Sentinel is a definite 3 of in this particular deck that has the ability to contribute this card to special summon out one monster from your hand or deck that specifically lists assault mode activate in its text, except another copy of this card. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the X deck for the rest of the turn except synchro monsters. This is a great effect to be able to use on this card to be able to get your copy of Psi-Reflector instantly on the field. It also has the ability you can target one face-up monster as you control, reveal one synchro monster in your X deck, and if you do, the targeted monster's type and attribute become the same as the revealed monster until the end of this turn, which can help you go in for a bunch of different cards in your extra deck. We then play just a single copy of Assault Beast. You really only need a single copy of this card because you're going to search it off your copy of your Psi-Reflector to be able to use its effect to discard this card to the graveyard to add a copy of Assault Mode Activate directly from your deck to your hand. We then play 2 copies of Stardust Dragon Assault Mode. This card is a really good 2-of that's basically a walking negate and is a really fantastic card to be able to summon out to your side of the field by just flipping Assault Mode Activate on your side of the field while you have a Stardust Dragon on the field, turning it into an Assault Mode version of it, which is super cool. We then play a single copy of Red Dragon Archfiend Assault Mode. This card is super cool in the deck. It is a great 3-of that if this card attacks, you destroy all monsters after the damage calculation. And when this card on the field is destroyed, you can special summon one Red Dragon Archfiend from your graveyard, which all of your Assault Mode versions actually share that ability, that when they're on the field destroyed, you can special summon out their original version to your side of the field from the graveyard, which is a really unique effect. And then play a single copy of TG Halberd Cannon Assault Mode. This card is actually super easy to summon to your side of the field in this particular deck by just using your copy of Assault Reboot to target one of your Assault Mode monsters and basically tag it out into this card. This card is super good on your side of the field because it has 2 really awesome effects that when an opponent would summon a monster, quick effects, you can negate the summon, and if you do, banish that monster in all special summon monsters that your opponent controls, which is the main effect that we're going to be using on this card. It also has the ability you get to summon out the TG Halberd Cannon if this card is destroyed, but you're usually not using that effect on this particular card because we actually don't even play TG Halberd Cannon in this particular deck. We then play a single copy of Hyper Psychic Blaster, which is actually my favorite of all of the Assault Mode artworks. It's just a really good 1-of in this particular deck. This card is super good and really easy to summon in the field because if this card battles a monster, at the end of the damage step, you inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's defense and then gain life points equal to its attack, which is a super good effect just to be able to gain some life points off this effect and is a great throwback to all of the old school psychic monsters that had to do with life points. We then play a single copy of Arcanite Magician Assault Mode. This card is really cool in this particular deck because it actually gets spell counters on this particular card, and it's a great card because when it's summoned to your side of the field, you place 2 spell counters on this card, and this card gains 1,000 attack for each spell counter on this card. And you can also remove 2 spell counters from this card and then destroy all cards that your opponent controls, which is a really cool effect. And when this card on the field is destroyed, you can special summon out an Arcanite Magician from your graveyard, which is a super cool effect. Now we're actually playing 5 of the 7 in this particular build. I wish I could play Doom Kaiser, but Doom Kaiser works too well with zombies to be able to play in this deck, and Colossal Fighter works with warriors, and it would be really cool to make a deck based around Colossal Fighter. And if you guys would like to see a particular build based around Colossal Fighter, definitely let me know down in the comments. We then play 3 copies of Kashtira Fenrir. Kashtira Fenrir is really cool in this deck because your copy of Hyper Psychic Blaster actually requires a psychic monster to be able to synchro summon into, and this card is actually psychic, which is really cool to be able to use this card, plus a copy of Gamma to make that card. But this card is really cool because if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand, and during your main phase, you can add a Kashtira monster from your deck to your hand, and when this card declares an attack, or if your opponent's monster activates a monster effect, except during the damage step, you can target a face of card your opponent controls and banish it face down, which is a great effect. You can play other Kashtira monsters in this particular position because all of your main deck Kashtira monsters that are level 7 special summon themselves to the side of the field, which is the effect we're looking for to synchro summon this card away for Hyper Psychic Blaster so that we can actually go in for Hyper Psychic Blaster. We then play 3 copies of Psyframe Gear Gamma. Psyframe Gear Gamma is really good in the deck with your 1-of copy of Driver because they are monster negates and hand traps that help you get monsters on your side of the field so you can synchro summon for 8 while also stopping your opponent's monster effects. But you can only use the effect of this card when you have no cards on your side of the field, which is not that big of a deal, but it's still a really good effect to stop your opponent from hand trapping you as long as you don't have monsters on the field. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn is just a great extender in the deck, especially when you turn one of your monsters into an assault mode version. You can actually bring back that monster to your side of the field if you correctly synchro summon it, which is why I really love this card in the deck. And then play a single copy of 1-for-1 because we really want to get to Sire Reflector as quickly as possible in this particular deck. We then play a single copy of Assault Mode 0. Assault Mode 0 is a really good one of the deck. It lets you create a synchro monster to special summon an Assault Mode monster from your hand whose name includes the tributed monster's name. This is treated as a special summon with Assault Mode Activate as well, which is really cool, basically being our 4th copy of Assault Mode Activate. And during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard to set 1 Assault Mode Activate directly from your hand or deck, and it can be activated this turn, which is a great effect just to get you a copy of Assault Mode Activate on your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Assault Teleport. All the Assault Mode monsters in this particular deck are really bricks, but being able to use this card to be able to put them back into the deck to draw 2 cards makes them not quite such bricks, which is really good in this particular deck. We then play 3 copies of E-Telly. E-Telly is really good to be able to summon out your copy of Sire Reflector to your side of the field so we can go in for all of our different Assault Mode plays. So this card is a definite 3 of the deck to instantly get Sire Reflector on the field. I then play 3 copies of Fire Formation Tinky. This card is so that we can actually search out Assault Sentinel directly from our deck to our hand. So this card is a definite 3 of the deck to be able to search out our copy of Assault Sentinel. It is just a great 3 of in the deck. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Assault Reboot. This card is super good in this particular deck when you're trying to summon out multiple versions of Assault Mode monsters. It has the ability to tribute an Assault Mode monster to special summon an Assault Mode monster from your deck with a different name in defense position, ignoring its summoning conditions, which is the main way I'm summoning out the copy of the TG Halberd Cannon to my side of the field. This card also has the ability that you can banish this card from your graveyard and then target any number of cards in your graveyard with different names that are Assault Mode Activate and or specifically list Assault Mode Activate in their text, accept another copy of this card and shuffle them into the deck, which is a great effect to be able to recycle some of your resources. We then play 3 copies of Assault Mode Activate. This card is the main card of the entire deck. It lets you treat a synchro monster to special summon an Assault Mode version of it from your deck to your side of the field in attack position, which is an awesome effect to be able to turn any of our cool synchro monsters into Assault Mode armored versions of them. We then play 3 copies of Back to the Front. Back to the Front is a really good 3 on the deck because it lets you target a monster in your graveyard and special summon in defense position, which can be super helpful in the deck to be able to bring back our synchro monsters that we turn into Assault Mode versions to our side of the field so we can summon out additional Assault Mode versions of them, or you can even use this card to bring back Sire Reflector from the graveyard so you can go in for more synchro plays. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Stardust Dragon. Stardust Dragon is really good in this deck to be able to turn it into your copy of your Stardust Assault mode. But this card is really cool in this particular deck and just a classic card. We then play a single copy of Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. The reason we play this card in the deck is because this card's name becomes Red Dragon Archfiend while on the field or in the graveyard, which means you can actually use Assault mode activate with this card to be able to summon out your copy of Red Dragon Archfiend Assault mode. But this card has a really good effect that once per turn you can destroy as many cards on the, or as many special monsters that are effect monsters on the field as possible with attack less than or equal to this card, other than this card. And then you can inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed, which is a great effect just to do some quick burn damage against your opponent, and then turn this card into an assault mode version. We then play a single copy of Hyper Psychic Blaster, which I've always wanted a reason to put this card in a deck, and I'm really excited to finally be able to do it. This card does take a tuner monster plus 1 or more non-tuner psychic monsters, which is why I do play the copy of Fenrir in this particular deck. But this card is really good because during battle between this attacking card and defense position monster, whose defense is lower than the attack of this card, you inflict piercing damage to your opponent, and if this card attacks a defense position monster whose defense is lower than this card's attack, you gain life points equal to the difference at the end of the damage step, which is a pretty good effect to be able to just gain you some life points and be able to summon out the assault mode version of this card. We can play a single copy of Arcanite Magician. Arcanite Magician is really cool in this deck because if this card is synchro summon, you place 2 spell counters on this card, and this card gains 100 attack for each spell counter on it. And this card has the ability to remove a spell counter from this card, and then you get to target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it, and that is not a once per turn effect, which is really cool. You basically synchro summon in this card, pull both the spell counters off it, pop 2 cards on the field, and then turn it into the assault mode version so it doesn't even matter that it has 400 attack points. Either way, a single copy of Psychic End Punisher. This card gets absolutely massive on the field. It was just a really good boss monster to be able to summon in the deck. 1 copy of Baron de Fleur. Baron de Fleur is really good because this card is a walking negate and can pop a card every single turn, which is really good. 1 copy of the Virtual Royal QB because we can summon it in the deck, and it is a walking Macrocosmos, which is really good because any card sent from the field to the graveyard is banished instead. A single copy of Trishula. Trishula is a really cool one of in the deck that basically rips cards off your opponent's hand, field, and graveyard when summoned and banishes 1 from each, which is really neat. 1 copy of Crystal Wing because we can summon this card to our side of the field by using Arcanite Magician as a monster to be able to synchro summon with this card because it takes a synchro plus a tuner to summon out this card, and it is a walking monster negate. A single copy of Draco Berserker. Draco Berserker is a really good one of in this extra deck that is super easy to summon, that when your opponent's monster activates its effect, quick effect, you can banish him, and if this card destroys an effect monster at battle and sends it to the graveyard, this card gains attack equal to destroyed monster's original attack and make a second attack on a monster during this battle phase. Play a single copy of Cyframe Lord Omega because we are playing Gamma and Driver in the deck, so sometimes you will summon this card. 1 copy of Black Rose Dragon because it can board wipe the field. A single copy of F.A. Dawn Dragster because it does negate spells and traps. And then finally a single copy of Coral Dragon just in case we need a tuner synchro monster. But this card is really good in the deck because if this card is summoned, once per turn you can discard a card, target a card that your opponent controls, and destroy it. And if the card uses synchro material while on the field, you get to draw a card, which is really neat. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. This deck is super fun to be able to play. And definitely comment down below what monster you would like to see an assault mode version of. I would actually love to see a Black Rose Dragon turned into assault mode. It would just be really cool to see that card because I think that it would look awesome with armor on it. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely hit that bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad. And we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.